Today's news highlights. Date August 25, 2025. Republic of China August 25, 114. Time cutoff point, 1500 hours on the same day. News highlights. 44-year-old Jolin Tsai shared her skincare experience on the podcast, trying to go to bed at 9 p.m. for 3 consecutive days due to jet lag, and was surprised to find that her skin was translucent and her complexion was better, and she developed the habit of going to bed early. Traditional Chinese medicine points out that falling asleep between 9 and 11 o'clock in the evening can help metabolism and reduce edema, while sleeping after 11 o'clock is prone to yin deficiency and dull skin. Jolin Tsai also relies on drinking 2,800 cc warm water every day, quitting sugar, and frying in homemade red bean poria lotus seed soup for maintenance. Experts add that after the age of 40, you should consume more protein to maintain muscle and collagen to avoid sagging skin. Studies have also shown that going to bed early combined with morning exercise can help reduce fat, improve metabolism and blood sugar stability. News highlights. The recently popular fitness drink Profi, protein powder and coffee, is claimed to refresh and help gain muscle and lose fat, but experts warn that excessive protein intake will be converted into fat. Not more is better. Commercially available protein powders often contain added sugars and artificial ingredients, and long-term overdose may harm intestinal health. The doctor pointed out that the mixture of protein and caffeine does not produce additional fat-burning effects, and the effect still depends on the overall diet and exercise habits. It is recommended to choose a low-sugar simple formula, avoid replacing meals. Coffee is best drunk in the morning or before exercise, and control 300-400 mg of caffeine per day to exert the best fat loss assistance. News highlights. In the referendum on August 23, although the vote in favor was as high as 74.17%, the voter turnout was only 29.53%, which did not reach the 1/4 threshold, resulting in the referendum not being established. President Lai Ching-te expressed respect for the results and emphasized that nuclear energy must meet the 3 major premises of safety, waste disposal, and social consensus, and advanced nuclear energy will not be ruled out in the future. This time there were 53 more votes in favor than the 2021 Nuclear IV referendum, reflecting the rise in public opinion in support of nuclear energy under the pressure of power shortages. However, the voter turnout hit the 3rd lowest in the history of the referendum, triggering completely different interpretations of the blue and white and green camps. Experts believe that the nuclear energy controversy has not stopped, and future energy policies must still seek consensus between safety, stability, and low carbon. News highlights. The U.S. government is pushing for the first major revision of submarine cable rules in more than 20 years, strengthening supply chain security, and excluding rival companies such as China, Russia, and Iran from participating in the construction and operation of U.S. submarine cables. The new regulations require approved companies to submit a network security plan and re-review it every 25 years. At the same time, it simplifies the approval process for allies such as Japan and Europe, shortening the current average waiting period of 2 years. This move not only creates opportunities for NEC, Subcom, and other companies, but also requires them to strengthen supply chain risk control. Submarine cables carry more than 95% of international data and facilitate more than $10 trillion in transactions every day, highlighting the high level of vigilance of information and financial security. News highlights. Chinese real estate giant Country Garden expects a loss of 185 to 215 billion yuan in the first half of 2025, a further increase from the same period last year, reflecting a deterioration in operations. The company's losses were mainly due to shrinking project settlements, sluggish gross profit margins and increased asset impairment. In the past 2 years, Country Garden has accumulated losses of more than 210 billion yuan, total liabilities are close to 9,846 billion yuan, and sales have also decreased by 35% year-on-year. Although 77% of creditors have supported the restructuring of overseas debt, the progress is still uncertain. The overall industry is also sluggish, with more than 60% of listed real estate companies predicting losses this year, and debt defaults and delisting cases are frequent. Experts believe that China's real estate is in a period of deep adjustment, and the clearance and transformation of the industry have become inevitable. News highlights. Eye strain has become the norm for office workers due to prolonged screen use, and common symptoms include dryness, soreness, blurred vision, redness and swelling, headache, and heaviness. Studies have shown that contact lens users and those who use screens for more than 3 hours a day have an 8 to 90% risk of dry eye syndrome, which may increase the risk of glaucoma or macular degeneration if neglected for a long time. Experts recommend using the 20-20-20 rule, acupressure around the eyes, adjusting the screen environment, applying hot compresses, increasing blinking and hydration, and using herbal eye patches to relieve discomfort. However, if you have eye diseases, be sure to consult an ophthalmologist to avoid delaying treatment on your own. News highlights. Quiet cracking refers to the exhaustion that professionals have endured for a long time without publicly expressing it, often manifested as smiling bitterly at endless demands, declining concentration, and loss of enthusiasm. The fundamental reason is that the boundaries between work and life are blurred, and the information continues to extend to after work and weekends, leaving people without space to rest and repair. Experts recommend establishing boundaries through cutting, such as turning on Do Not Disturb mode and setting up an off-duty ritual to let the body know when to stop. More importantly, invest in your new identity after work, cultivate interests, accompany your family, and regain your self-worth. Quiet disintegration reminds us that only by letting go at the right time can we go further and more comfortable. News highlights: the United States imposed a 20% reciprocal tariff on Taiwan's machine tools, impacting Taiwan's industrial exports and profits. Takaizawa announced a 3-day week off to deal with order reductions and cost pressures, and backbone manufacturers such as Bank of Shanghai, Yaoyi, and BATE also suffered losses due to exchange losses. According to statistics from the Machine Tool Association, exports fell by 8.4% year-on-year in July, and FHKI recommended that the government maintain exchange rate stability, expand financing intermediation, and provide emergency measures such as freezing electricity prices and deferring carbon fees to stabilize employment and avoid industrial migration. Analysts pointed out that although the impact of tariffs is serious, there are still opportunities for transformation if the crisis is used to promote industrial upgrading. News highlights: encouraged by U.S. Federal Reserve Chairman Powell's dovish remarks, the market is optimistic that the probability of a rate cut in September will rise to 85%. U.S. stocks rose sharply last Friday, the Dow Jones hit a record high, and the Taiwan Index rose 365 points in overnight trading. The legal person expects that Taiwan stocks are expected to stand firm at 24,000 points this week and challenge the all-time high of 24,551 points, and AI stocks will still be the mainstream focus of the market. TSMC, Hon Hai, Mediatek and other weighted stocks have stable performance, and Nvidia's financial report and the results of the US 232 survey will become the key to the market outlook. News highlights: Nvidia will announce its second quarter earnings report on the 27th of this week, with market expectations of revenue increasing by about 53% year-on-year to $459 billion, earnings per share increasing by 48% year-on-year to $1.01, and some estimates as high as $471 billion and earnings per share of $1.05. The legal person is optimistic about the upward revision of its financial forecast, which will drive the future of Taiwan chain stocks such as TSMC, Hon Hai, and Quanta to strengthen. Nvidia's financial report and outlook are regarded as the weather vane of the AI market, especially whether it will be included in the Chinese market, as well as the Blackwell platform supply and H20 chip suspension arrangements, which will become the focus of investors' attention. News highlights: large IPC factories such as Enocon, Adlink, and Advantech, as well as small and medium-sized players such as Nexcom, Aeon, and Nihusi, are actively deploying the automated robot market, covering diverse fields such as robot controllers, AMRs, and AGVs. Nexcom and Nvidia have collaborated to launch the humanoid robot controller MARS400T10 based on the Jetson Thor architecture. Aeon's Up Extreme ARL development board is powered by the Intel Core Ultra 200H platform, providing up to 97 TOPS of AI computing performance. Nihusi uses the Jetson Thor platform to provide computing power support and collaborate with partners to expand business opportunities for humanoid robots. News highlights: Vivian Dawson returned to Taiwan after 5 years and attended the press conference of the variety show The Strongest Body, showing the true nature of a fitness demon, and riding a giant variable speed bicycle to MIT Riverside Park, from a Taipei walking maniac to a Taipei biker bicycle expert. Jin Rong has been dating Jolin Tsai for 6 years, and then has a brief relationship with Japanese mixed-race supermodel Akemi Kazuki and Korean-American actress Kirsten Lee, but they all ended. During his return to Taiwan, he focused on work and fitness, kept a low profile about his personal relationships, and enjoyed his single life. News highlights: the love triangle between 42-year-old Wei Rugjuan and her 21-year-old boyfriend Ian and 19-year-old internet celebrity Ru Ying recently came to an end. Ru Ying then posted a beautiful photo of a bikini on the beach on IG, swimming backstroke to show off her sexy curves on the sea, and swimming hand-in-hand with friends, temporarily breaking away from the love triangle entanglement, showing a relaxed vacation style. News highlights: 35-year-old actress An Yuking, titled Ariel Kobayashi, recently attracted attention again for her photo book Restless in the Room, and the cover only covered her private parts with a white towel, showing her sexy body curves. The photo book was taken during her study in Singapore in 2023, and she said that through filming, she explored different aspects and recorded her life and self-growth. Mirror Weekly reported that she had taken large-scale nude photos before her debut and was rumored to have bought out her boyfriend to avoid leaking, but the agent denied the matter, emphasizing that she had only taken GQ large-scale photos in her debut, at most in bikinis, and no nude photos were leaked. News highlights: former F4 member Amy Yating Zhen owed a card debt of 200 yuan many years ago, and was induced by her agent and photographer to take nude photos. She recalled that she was originally shooting fashion and swimsuits, but was finally asked to be completely naked, and she agreed to shoot at a price of 3 yuan. Now that she has turned into an artist, her nude photos in the past have gone viral on the internet, but she is still hurt, and reminded girls, as long as your photos have been on the internet, you can find them no matter how much you search. News highlights: after the recall vote, rumors of a reshuffle of the Green Camp cabinet heated up, but the personnel plan originally scheduled to be announced today, 25th, did not proceed as scheduled. Deputy Minister of Education Ye Bingcheng, Minister of Digital Affairs Huang Yanan, and Minister of Economic Affairs Guo Zhihui resigned as early as August 22. Confirmed personnel include Zhang Dunhan taking over as Secretary General of the Executive Yuan, Gong Mingzhen may take over as the Ministry of Economic Affairs, and Li Yang, the first Minister of the Ministry of Sports established in September. Party and government officials pointed out that the personnel were not announced due to a single factor, and the overall operation was still in progress. News highlights: the Ministry of Economic Affairs will hold an electricity price rate review meeting at the end of September to decide on the electricity price in October, and with the decline in international fuel prices, Taipower's loss in the first half of this year narrowed to 155 billion yuan, and it is expected to flatten for the whole year. If only costs are reflected, electricity prices may rise by about 5% in October, but if energy prices continue to fall in the second half of the year, the increase is expected to narrow. Taipower's loss in the first half of the year was mainly due to last year's increase in electricity prices, increased summer electricity revenue, and lower fuel costs. In addition, the Executive Yuan has planned a special budget of about 300 billion yuan to strengthen the power grid, which will reduce the pressure on debt and provide a respite in the financial situation. News highlights: the general recall vote ended on the 23rd, and the DPP suffered a crushing defeat, triggering a wave of resignations within the party, and many party cadres announced their resignation. The Taiwan Green Party accused the Legislative Yuan General Convocation of KG Unming of repeatedly making inappropriate remarks, grabbing credit and suppressing dissent during the recall, damaging the subjectivity of citizens and the credibility of the ruling party, and demanded that he resign as a non-district legislator to respect the citizens' recall action. The Green Party emphasized that the recall is an autonomous action of citizens, and political parties should support rather than lead or distort it. News highlights: Taiwan's machine tool industry is facing the most severe challenge in 40 years. The United States imposed a 20% reciprocal tariff on Taiwan, which hit the industry with exports as its lifeblood. Exchange rate fluctuations have caused major manufacturers such as Bank of Shanghai and Yaoyi to eat up profits due to exchange losses, and the industry has generally fallen into the brink of profit and loss. According to statistics from the Machine Tool Association, exports fell by more than 8% year-on-year in July, and the freezing situation was obvious. FHKI warned that it may trigger a wave of industrial migration and unemployment, and suggested that the government stabilize the exchange rate, expand financial support, freeze electricity prices, and suspend carbon fees to reduce the burden on enterprises. This wave of tariff tsunami not only tests the resilience of the industry, but also forces the industry to accelerate its transformation and seek new opportunities. News highlights: the Blue and White Camp 132:0 in the two waves of voting, and the morale of the Green Camp was low. Internet celebrity Chen Yi ridiculed on Facebook, criticizing these statements for lacking logic, laughing at supporters who deserve to be bluebirds, and describing the scene of the collapse of the Green Camp as quite interesting. News highlights: Brookings Institution scholar Gordon wrote in Foreign Policy that Trump's wavering attitude may make Taiwan a bargaining chip in the US-China negotiations and trigger a decline in Taiwan's trust in the United States. He believes that China continues to use military and political pressure to exacerbate political party differences within Taiwan and increase risks. Gordon suggested that Taiwan can play three cards: one is to improve defense spending and self-defense capabilities, second, expand investment in the United States and strengthen economic and supply chain links, the third is to carefully handle independence issues and avoid stimulating Trump's uncertain behavior on cross-strait policies. News highlights: the referendum on the resumption of nuclear trilogy was voted on the 23rd, and the final votes were 434 votes in favor and 151 votes against, but it was not passed because it did not meet the threshold. Kaohsiung Middle School Principal Zhuang Futai posted on Threads that night in support of nuclear power, and even shouted "One county, one city, one nuclear power plant," which sparked heated discussions and debates in the community. Zhuang Futai replied to netizens, "I am sober in the world," but the remarks were reposted on PTT and other platforms in large numbers, causing controversy. On the morning of the 24th, he changed his account to private, and the incident continued to ferment. News highlights: Ryo Nishi, a well-known fan craftsman in Kyoto, Japan, was found suddenly dead at home in the early morning of the 22nd of this month at the age of 35, and the news shocked all walks of life. After returning to her hometown in 2016 to take over, she promoted Beijing fan culture with innovative design and humorous image, and became popular on social platforms, becoming an important promoter of the younger generation's understanding of traditional crafts. The police are still investigating the cause of death, and the family has deleted their accounts and will hold a low-key funeral. The sudden death made Japanese and Taiwanese fans deeply reluctant. News highlights: the number of diabetic patients in Taiwan is increasing year by year, with an average of 1 in 10 people affected, and there is a trend of younger people. If symptoms such as wanting to sleep after eating, getting hungry quickly, losing weight and limbs, and having a big belly, not getting enough sleep, and loving sweets may be a warning sign of high blood sugar. She recommends consuming more soluble fiber and protein, reducing refined starches, sugars, and processed foods, and paying attention to a balanced diet to reduce insulin resistance and diabetes risk. News highlights the Legislative Yuan passed an amendment to the military treatment regulations in June, stipulating that the volunteer service will be increased by 3 yuan per month, which is higher than the original executive yuan version. However, the total budget for the new year did not allocate relevant funds, and the political yuan announced that it would propose a constitutional interpretation. Since the previous news of the salary increase has stimulated the effectiveness of recruitment, the military urgently ordered that the 30,000 yuan increase should no longer be used as publicity, and asked all units to withdraw relevant propaganda to avoid misleading. The Army emphasizes that treatment information must be subject to actual distribution and is investigating violating units. News highlights soy milk is rich in nutrients, containing protein, calcium, soy isoflavones, and dietary fiber, which can help intestinal health and increase satiety. However, surveys show that sugary soy milk is the second most commonly consumed sugary drink among adults in Taiwan, which can easily lead to excessive sugar intake and increase the risk of obesity and metabolic syndrome. The National Health Administration recommends choosing unsweetened soy milk to avoid the harm of additional sugar. If you find the taste light, you can pair it with oatmeal, black sesame powder, or cinnamon powder to not only enhance the flavor but also enhance the nutritional value. News highlights the last episode of 11 O'Clock Hot Shop recorded before he fell ill was broadcast a few days ago. He recalled that 2 months ago, he had symptoms such as listlessness, low mood, and tiredness after walking, and mistakenly thought it was a physical and mental problem and went to the psychosomatic department. After finishing the show, he was exhausted and asked for leave from his family for the first time, and was diagnosed with leukemia after examination. News highlights Taipei City Dongyuan Elementary School defeated the Nevada State Team 7-0 in the William Porter Little League Championship game and won the championship. Ace pitcher Lin Jins pitched 5 scoreless innings, struck out 20, and contributed a base-clearing triple on the batting end. After winning the championship at Fuxing Elementary School in 1996, the Taiwan team returned to the World Little League and finished as the runner-up for 15 years, and this year it made history again and won the 18th William Potter Championship. In the game, the Taiwan team relied on steady pitching, wild pitches to grab points and key hits to extend the lead many times, and finally Chen Kishan closed the door to hold on to the victory, and the team performed steadily and with full momentum. News highlights Shen Zonglong, former chairman of Yunlin County of the Kuomintang, and 5 others were involved in accepting bribes of 2,000 yuan from Date Energy, and the Yunlin District Court sentenced Shen Zonglong to 3 years and 6 months in prison and Wang Yumin to 9 years and 6 months in prison in the first trial, and deprived him of public power for 8 years. Wang Yunyi, former chairman of Dade, was sentenced to 1 year and 10 months in prison and 1 year and 2 months in prison for bribery of non-civil servants, and deprived of public power for 2 years. Pan Zhenggang was exempted from punishment for bribery, but was sentenced to 6 months of probation for filling in false accounting vouchers, and could be fined for 2 years. The judgment pointed out that in order to promote the wind power project, Dade bribed Shen Zonglong and Wang Yumin with stone supply and cash, and concealed the flow of funds by falsely stating invoices, and Dade internal personnel were also involved in accounting fraud. News highlights the Dodgers defeated the Padres 8-2 in the final game of the regular season to avoid being swept in the series, and the two sides were once again tied for the top spot in the National League West. Dodgers ace Yoshinobu Yamamoto started 6 innings, gave up 2 runs, delivered 6 K, and had an ERA of 2.90, winning his 11th win of the season. The bullpen pitched 3 scoreless innings to block the Padres' offense. In terms of the lineup, Shohei Ohtani knocked out the 45th bomb of the season, Freeman hit a double in a single game, and Racine hit a 3-point shot to help the Dodgers lay the foundation for victory. Ohtani went 1-for-4 with 1 RBI, ran back 2 runs, and finally the Dodgers won. News highlights the nuclear triple restart referendum promoted by the People's Party reached 434 votes on the 23rd, but it did not reach the 25% threshold and was not passed. The outside world questioned that the People's Party spent 1.1 billion yuan to hold a useless referendum. People's Party Chairman Huang Qiuaqing accused the referendum law of limiting the effectiveness of the referendum, and revealed that he would work with Blue Committee member Luo's Haiqiang to promote the referendum tied to the general election amendment. In this regard, lawyer Lin Heekan pointed out that Huang Qiuaqing supported the referendum and the Delan King from the general election in 2019, and posted the registered voting record and the position of the People's Party that year, bluntly saying that Huang Qiuaqing's move was likely to slap himself in the face. News highlights today, 25th, it will be cloudy to sunny in various parts of Taiwan, Penghu, Kinmen, and Matsu, with only local brief showers in the southeast and the Hengchun Peninsula, local thunderstorms south of Daowen and mountainous areas in the afternoon, and a higher chance of local heavy rain in the mountainous areas south of Mili, and scattered short-term rain in the east and central and southern parts at night and early morning. The local high temperature in Greater Taipei and Daowen can reach more than 37 degrees, and the ultraviolet rays are strong, so you need to pay attention to sun protection and hydration. Weather anchor Lin Jiakai reminded that tropical disturbances may form in the South China Sea later this week, but they will move towards Hainan Island and have no direct impact on Taiwan. News highlights: former President Tsai Ing-wen went to the presidential residence on the 24th to cheer for President Li Qiang and Vice President Xiao Maikan, and posted on Facebook calling for unity and support for the ruling team. The post received enthusiastic responses from netizens, but Chen Zhaihan, director of the People's Party's Legislative Yuan Caucus, left a message mocking the result of the recall. "What's so funny? 32:0. It caused a lot of criticism, and political commentator Zhang Yuqian also quoted Huang Qiaqing's words and replied, "What kind of idiot problem is this?" The entire interaction sparked heated discussions on the internet, with both support and criticism. News highlights: after the recall and the 3 nuclear referendums in Taiwan, President Li Qiang promised that the ruling team would make 4 adjustments, including cabinet personnel reshuffle. Premier Zhou Rongta said before going to the Legislative Yuan on the 25th to prepare for inquiries that the list of important cabinet personnel adjustments will be completed within this week, and emphasized that the structure of various ministries and administrative teams needs to be comprehensively adjusted to meet the expectations of the Chinese people. He revealed that some leaders have proposed their resignation, while others are still considering it, with the goal of injecting new blood into the cabinet and gaining the support of the people and the parliament to ensure smooth governance. News highlights: Lin Changzuo, the lead singer of the well-known Taiwanese band The Shining, was appointed ambassador to Finland less than a year after stepping down as a legislator, and his family went to start a new life. He often shares footage of his work and life in Finland on Facebook, and previously sparked discussion with photos of him appearing in a restaurant. On the 24th, he released his latest outfit photo, changing into a dark grey zippered jacket and all black narrow-leg pants, paired with a scarf to show a sense of fashion, with a serious expression, forming a stark gap with the previous relaxed restaurant style, attracting thousands of netizens to like it in a short period of time. News highlights: in the 2025 William Porter World Little Baseball Championship, Taipei City Dongyuan Elementary School represented Taiwan and played against the Nevada State team in the championship game on the 25th. The Taiwan team continued to attack after scoring the first point, using walks, stolen bases and opponents' mistakes to score more points, and finally successfully won the William Porter Championship after 29 years, which is also the 18th Gold Cup of the Taiwan team in Williamport, recreating the glory of Taiwan's little baseball. News highlights: millions of YouTuber Joman has accumulated more than 272 subscribers with themes such as luxury unboxing and luxury showdowns, and has successfully lost 31 kilograms in recent years, transforming from a fat brother into a man. He revealed the truth about his weight loss for the first time in an interview a few days ago, revealing that his blood sugar was approaching the critical point of diabetes during the health checkup, and the doctor warned that if he did not improve, he might suffer from irreversible diabetes. To this end, he completely changed his lifestyle habits through 168 intermittent fasting, aerobic training 5 days a week, and heavy training 3 to 5 days. News highlights: after singer Gao Erxuan won a daughter last year, today, 24th, announced that his second child was a male treasure through a gender party, making up the word good. He humorously said, "Okay, go for a ligation in the community," expressing the joy of both children and daughters. The due date for the second child is at the end of January 2026, and the couple originally planned to add another child to accompany their eldest daughter. News highlights: when the 20th anniversary tour Super Show 10 of the K-pop group Super Junior was held in Seoul today, 24th, member Kyohyun accidentally stepped on the air and fell heavily due to poor vision, disappearing for nearly 30 minutes, and was suspected of receiving treatment backstage. After returning to the stage, he could only sit on a chair to complete the performance, and even needed to be supported by an umbrella during the encore. The agency SM Entertainment said that Kyohyun sprained his ankle, but he was strong and still completed the performance, and then immediately sought medical attention, and the company will continue to track the injury and prioritize health. News highlights: singer Hyexian's wife, Chen Tinny, has been married for 4 years and served as his agent for 5 years, and recently announced that she will step down as an agent after her contract expires. She admitted that her long-term life and work revolved around Hyexian, and she was physically and mentally exhausted, and even when doing private matters, she was often recognized as Hyexian's wife. Chen Yuni said that she hopes to let go of these roles and burdens, no longer block the wind and rain for Hyexian in the future, and welcomes the record company to take over the agency affairs. News highlights: 59-year-old veteran Hong Kong star Lee Songxian became popular with Smiling Proud of the Rivers and Lakes Ling Huchong, and recently suffered from life-threatening bacterial pneumonia. His wife Mak Qingting revealed that he experienced emergency treatment, negative pressure isolation ward and intensive care unit in more than 2 months, losing 18 kilograms and affecting multiple organs, and the doctor said his condition was rare and serious. Fortunately, after treatment, Liu Songxian's condition improved and he was discharged from the hospital and returned home to recuperate. News highlights: Li Minggui, the head of Guang's palace in Daxi Fengshan Temple, reminded that tigers, monkeys, snakes, pigs, and other zodiac signs need to pay attention to sick talismans, blood light, official non-governmental and accidents, and avoid going to remote and dangerous places alone. He also refuted the claim that the ghosts are more fierce in the intercalary June, pointing out that the appropriate amount of offerings is sufficient, observe etiquette, avoid night tours and extravagance, emphasize that safety are the most important, and also recommend that believers accumulate merit through pujas or public welfare alms. News highlights: after the general recall, the Executive Yuan launched cabinet personnel adjustments this week, and it was reported that Minister of Health and Welfare Chu Tai-yuan refused to resign, and progress was blocked. Premier Zhou Rongta said that the official personnel adjustment only started yesterday, and there is no final list today, but the important list will be completed this week to inject new blood into the ministry. Some leaders have submitted their resignations, and others are still thinking and consulting. He emphasized that the adjustment will take into account the country's finances, governance priorities, and the interaction mode between the executive and legislative, and hopes that the composition of the new cabinet will be supported by the Chinese people and the National Assembly, so that the country can operate more smoothly. News highlights: the Hualien County government confirmed that the first direct flight from Hualien to Incheon, South Korea, will make its maiden flight on November 13, providing services every Thursday and Sunday, with a flight time of about 2 to 3 hours. Director of Tourism Yu Mingsun said that Korean tourists have surpassed Japan and are an important source of international tourists, and direct flights are expected to extend their stay time and promote in-depth tourism. As soon as the news came out, the public expressed their expectations for the convenience of Just Go, which can also save transportation and accommodation costs on going north. As for Hualien's direct flights to Japan, they still need to be coordinated and opened due to insufficient aircraft capacity. News highlights: Hong Kong actor Kay Willan was nominated for the Golden Horse Award for Best Supporting Actor for the movie Drifting in Turbid Water, and announced on July 30 that he was diagnosed with stage 4 lung adenocarcinoma at the age of 33. Kay continued to cough and sought medical attention at the end of May, and was diagnosed after multiple examinations. Director Chen Yuxun said that Kay is still young and actively treating, and has seen the new film Demeng, hoping that he will recover and participate in film promotion and Golden Horse Awards in the future. News highlights: U.S. travel and security experts warn that inserting hotel room keys back into the card holder with the room number may increase the risk, as it is equivalent to handing over the key and house number to a stranger. Liu Wu, founder of Polaris Group, suggested that passengers should discard the room number card holder, avoid taking photos and save them, pay attention to the surroundings and escape exits on the way into the room, lock the main lock and auxiliary lock after entering, confirm safety through the cat's eye before leaving the room, and hang a Do Not Disturb sign to ensure personal safety. News highlights: Hong Kong film tycoon Xiang Huaqiang and his wife Xiang Tai, Chen Lan, had a happy relationship after marriage, but Xiang Tai once revealed that he took the initiative to increase the court's decision to pay ex-wife Ding Pei's monthly alimony to Xiang Huaqiang from HK $5,000 to HK $10, and promised to support them for the rest of their lives, in gratitude to Ding Pei for signing the divorce agreement to fulfill Xiang Huaqiang's happiness. Xiang Tai emphasized that he made his position "I am the last" before marriage, and the two are still in love after 45 years of marriage. News highlights: a woman surnamed Zhu in Kaohsiung served as a nurse for Lao Dong surnamed Yu for 10 years, and during the terminal period of cancer, Yunnan authorized Zhu Nu to terminate the contract and transfer it to her account with a fixed deposit of 4,658 yuan. The first and second instances determined that Zhu Nu had been sentenced for theft, but the retrial found that Yunnan was conscious and authorized before his death, and Zhu Nu was acquitted. After the trial, the Kwoto District Court ruled that Yunnan's family should give Zhu Nu 1,000 yuan, and the judge found that Yunnan was indeed willing to give and authorized Zhu Nu to handle the property transfer. News highlights: after the 823 recall and the referendum on the extension of the 3 nuclear services, President Lai Ching-te announced that the cabinet would start a personnel reshuffle, but Minister of Health and Welfare Chu Tai-yuan refused to resign, which hindered the progress. Premier Zhou Rongta said that the cabinet adjustment was officially launched yesterday, and the list of important personnel will be completed within this week. Some restructurings have been confirmed, including Zhang Dunhan taking over as Secretary General of the Executive Yuan, Gong Mingzhen being transferred to Minister of Economic Affairs, and Li Yang, the First Minister of Sports. The resigned chiefs also include Huang Yanan, Guo Zhihui, and Ye Bingcheng. Zhou emphasized that the new cabinet will comprehensively adjust the governance priorities and the interaction mode between the two houses, injecting new blood to meet the expectations of the Chinese people. News highlights: former President Tsai Ing-wen shared on the 24th that she met with President Lai Ching-te and Vice President Xiao Mei-chin at her official residence to discuss the domestic and international situation and call for unity and support for the ruling team. Unexpectedly, Chen Zhaihan, director of the People's Party's Legislative Yuan Caucus, left a message under CAI's post, "What's so funny?" 32:0. It sparked criticism from netizens and political commentator Zhang Yuxian, who thought his remarks were rude and controversial, and netizens also left messages to refute him, criticizing his ridicule for being inappropriate. Tsai emphasized that there is only one country, and in difficult times, we need to unite and work together for Taiwan. News highlights the referendum on the extension of the third nuclear service ended on the 23rd, with a voter turnout of only 29.53%, and the valid consent vote did not reach the threshold of a quarter of the total number of voters, and the result was not passed. Before the referendum, some people proposed on the Public Policy Network participation platform to store nuclear waste in the 3 counties and cities with the highest proportion of people in favor of the extension of nuclear power plants, which was open for second order on the voting day, and as of the morning of the 25th, more than 5,000 people had completed the second endorsement and entered the stage of completion. According to the statistics of the Central Election Commission, the 3 counties and cities with the highest consent rates are Kinmen 94.21%, Lianjiang 94%, and Miili 86.56%, and the responsible authorities must discuss and respond within the specified time limit. News highlights a 7-year-old girl and her father, a man surnamed Lin, were found dead in the parking lot on July 21 in Fangyuan Township, Zhonghua, and were initially diagnosed with carbon monoxide poisoning. When the girl's mother was preparing for the funeral, she found that the child's tongue and throat were missing, and then entrusted a body restorer to retrieve and return the brain to its place. The forensic doctor said that the tongue and throat were not immediately sutured due to sampling and testing. After restoration, the body is complete and will be moved to the Memorial Garden next to the Donghai Funeral Home in Taipei, and the memorial service is tentatively scheduled to be held on September 1. News highlights a serious vehicle arson case occurred at 3 a.m. today, 25th, in Xindian District, New Taipei City. A car caught fire in lane 19 of Administrative Street for unknown reasons, instantly igniting the entire alley, and the police dispatched 21 fire trucks to rescue 23 people, 8 of whom were injured. The police investigation found that there was a gas tank left at the scene, and the surveillance camera captured the 63-year-old car owner, a man surnamed Chen, parking the vehicle in the middle of the alley and detonating it and leaving. News highlights a 98-year-old woman surnamed Gu in Shanghai had a 3 to 4 centimeters diameter skin horn on her forehead, which she cut off with scissors due to years of trouble, resulting in immediate swelling and the risk of heavy bleeding. The doctor on duty quickly activated the emergency mechanism, and general surgery expert Nai Hongpeng surgically removed the residual tissue and sutured it, and the operation was successfully completed in less than 1 hour. Doctors pointed out that skin horns may be a precursor to benign or malignant tumors, and if the elderly manage them themselves, it is very easy to cause blood loss or infection, which can be serious or even life-threatening. News highlights falling asleep at 3 or 4 a.m. and sleeping for 8 hours is still called day and night reversal, which actually has a potential impact on health. Experts point out that the biological clock is adjusted by light to control sleep, hormones and metabolism. Even if you get enough sleep, if your routine is out of sync with natural light, it will still disrupt your circadian rhythm. Studies have shown that people who go to bed late or work night shifts for a long time have an increased risk of depression, cognitive fatigue, cardiovascular disease, and diabetes, and may have an average life expectancy of 15 years shorter. Regular sleep that is synchronized with natural light is the key to maintaining good health. News highlights Tang Qiyang announced the top 3 zodiac signs for financial luck in the second half of 2025, Taurus, Pisces, and Aries. Taurus is in a period of transition in life, with limited financial fluctuations, and some people pay more attention to life and health than making money. Although Pisces has no immediate worries, it is in a transit period and needs to maintain the basic market in a down-to-earth manner. Aries is financially stable, but the overall wealth situation is affected by the fortune of recent years, so it is advisable to be conservative in investment. Tang Qiyang reminded that learning from air signs is not willing to be ordinary, and working hard to exert their talents will help improve financial luck. News highlights South Korean President Lee Jae-myung will meet with US President Trump in Washington on the 25th Eastern Time, early morning of the 26th Taiwan time, and is expected to discuss issues such as the deployment of US troops in South Korea, defense spending and tariffs. Lee Jae-myung said that the United States requires flexible deployment of the US military stationed in South Korea, but it is difficult for South Korea to agree easily, and the two sides will discuss future strategic adjustments to the US military stationed in South Korea. The summit also involved the trade agreement reached by the United States and South Korea at the end of July, and Lee emphasized that existing agreements should not be easily modified to protect South Korea's national interests. The meeting is expected to include talks in the Oval Office and lunch in the Cabinet Room, and some media will be open for filming. News highlights NVIDIA announced that it will launch a humanoid robot new brain product, and CEO Jensen Huang wrote in the video, "Give it to the robot, enjoy your new brain." And the robot took over, suggesting that new developments in robot products are about to occur. It is rumored in the market that the next-generation edge computing platform Jetson Thor will be mass-produced in the fourth quarter, with the latest software Jetpack 7.0. The news inspired Taiwan stock-related concept stocks to rise sharply, with as many as 13 intraday limits on the 25th, including Solomon, Guangzhou, Tico, Nixcom, Kunying, etc., and others such as TSMC, Honhai, Kista, etc. also rose simultaneously, indicating that the market is looking forward to Nvidia's new robot products. News highlights Yongqing real estate statistics. In the past 3 years, the proportion of second-hand house transactions in Zhuangbei City with a total price of more than 5 years has risen to 35% in Taipei City, and the total price of high total price transactions has increased to 50.7%. New Taipei City is still the main force below 1,500, accounting for 63%, but the proportion of low total prices has decreased, and the proportion of high total price products has risen to 36.9%, and housing prices in the core area are rapidly approaching Taipei. The overall second-hand housing market in Zhuangbei shows a growth trend of decreasing low total prices and supporting medium and high total prices, and home buyers are mostly concentrated in high-priced products. News highlights U.S. stocks rose sharply last Friday as Federal Reserve Chairman Powell signaled a possible interest rate cut this fall at the annual meeting in Jackson Hole, but long-term interest rates are still unclear. Economists warn that the market may be overly optimistic, with higher interest rates soaring mortgage costs and heavy pressure on home purchases. Bauer pointed out that tariffs have pushed up prices, the job market is still strong but weak, and labor supply and demand are slowing down simultaneously. The overall economy is facing cyclical and structural challenges, and the Fed can calm volatility in the short term, but the long-term policy effect is limited, and the prospects for interest rate cuts are still uncertain. News highlights when people inherit listed or OTC stocks of their deceased relatives, in addition to declaring their income, dividends also need to be taxed according to the death date and ex-rights, interest, date. If the death date is earlier than the ex-dividend date, the dividends belong to the heirs and are included in the comprehensive income tax return for the current year. If the date of death is later than the ex-dividend date, the dividend is already the right of the deceased and must be included in the total amount of the estate for inheritance tax. The IRS reminds heirs to confirm key dates and correctly distinguish tax attribution to avoid declaration errors or tax disputes. News highlights in the early morning of the 25th, a car burning incident occurred in Xindian District, New Taipei City, and the police targeted the 63-year-old car owner surnamed Chen for arson. Chen Nan parked his car in the middle of the lane and placed a gas tank to ignite, causing nearby residents to be hindered from escaping, and he is still on the run. The fire department and police arrived at the scene to collect evidence, checked the surveillance cameras to trace his whereabouts, and the family had a harmonious relationship with the incident, which caused shock in the community. News highlights the Taipei City Dongyuan Elementary School Little Baseball team defeated Nevada State 7-0 in the 2025 World Little League Championship to win the William Porter World Championship for the first time in 29 years. Taipei Mayor Zhang Wanren praised the East Park Little Baseball as the light of Taiwan and the pride of Taipei, and expressed his hard work and encouragement to the players, and will celebrate the victory with the team. This championship symbolizes the strong strength and team spirit of the Taiwan Little League team, which has once again been recognized internationally. News highlights Ye Bingcheng, former Deputy Minister of the Ministry of Education, posted on the community in April this year, leaking the personal information of students in the terrace sex flat case, which caused dissatisfaction with the student Miss Y, accusing the 3-month investigation report of determining that she was not a confidential object of the Gender Equality Act, which was not illegal, and she still did not apologize to her. Miss Y put forward 3 major demands: restarting the independent investigation, fixing legal loopholes, and holding accountable in accordance with the law, and has filed a complaint with the Beijing Prosecutor's Office for violating the Personal Information Law. The Ministry of Education has not yet responded, and National Taiwan University has transferred the dormitory counselor involved in the case from his position. News highlights at the intersection of Taichung MRT Wengxingqing Station, a man in black got out of the passenger seat, crossed the lane and approached the long-haired woman who was pulling the luggage. The police have contacted the car owner, and the other party said that he misidentified the woman as picking up, but the police said that it can be dealt with according to the Improper Pursuit of the Stalking and Harassment Act, and called on the woman to file a complaint, and pointed out that the man got out of the car and crossed the lane to affect traffic, and will be fined. News highlights a serious birth accident occurred at the Central Tonopuri County Health Center in North Sumatra, Indonesia, on the 18th, and a fetus was separated from the body during childbirth, and the body remained in the mother's body. The medical staff said that the fetus had died in the womb and the bones were fragile, so external forces were used to assist the mother in childbirth. The video of the incident was exposed on the internet, causing shock and anger among the public, and the family questioned medical negligence. The Health Bureau emphasized that the disposal was in accordance with standard procedures, and in order to protect the mother's life was no longer in danger. News highlights Taiwan stocks returned to the 24,000 point mark in early trading, with the index reaching 24,304 points in intraday trading, up more than 500 points, TSMC leading the rise to 1,170 yuan, and Honhai and Mediatek rising simultaneously. Electronics stocks rose nearly 3%, financial stocks rose 0.38%, and the TPX index rose 1.69%. Nvidia announced the launch of their robot New Brain, driving many robot concept stocks such as Solomon, Nixcom, and Luosheng to rise by the limit. Drone concept stocks Lihu and Yuki also attacked the daily limit. Analysts pointed out that the sharp rise in US stocks last Friday assisted Taiwan stocks, but the volume and energy did not increase significantly, and we still need to pay attention to the risk of a pullback in the future. News highlights American model and internet celebrity Pug Meyer was sued by the station master for obstructing freedom because he was stranded at Yangmei railway station in the middle of the night in January this year and filmed and uploaded. When making the transcript in May, he claimed to be "I am the internet celebrity chased by the police the most in Taiwan," but returned to the United States and did not appear in court on time, and the Dawin District Prosecutor's Office issued a wanted notice in August. Recently, the Tom Sui police discovered that he was live broadcasting on YouTube, and was arrested and sent to the police on Zhongxiao East Road in Taipei, and was released after the transcript was completed, and he also shared news footage on IG. News highlights Guangdong netizen Awei shared that a snapping turtle he raised was forgotten at the bottom of the box for a year, and he was skinny and still alive. When the turtle was adopted last year, the turtle had trauma, and Awei first made a potion for treatment, but forgot about it because he raised too many turtles. After remembering it recently, he soaked the snapping turtle in vitamin water to recover, and his intestines gradually adapted, and he was able to start eating and increase his food intake. News highlights a fire broke out in a 4-story house in Fengyuan, Taichung in the early hours of the morning, and thick smoke rose from the rental suite on the second floor, killing a couple. Nearby residents said they had heard quarrels and collisions before the fire, and the woman shouted for help. When the fire department entered the firehouse, the two were obviously dead. Whether the cause of the fire is man-made is still to be investigated and clarified by fire investigators. News highlights the National Police Department of the Ministry of the Interior reminds that the unannounced general distribution of 10,000 yuan in cash has become a new bait for fraud, and fraud groups often use phone, line, or fake police online records to defraud. According to statistics from the Criminal Police Department, from January to July this year, 6 cases of phishing text messages from fake base stations were seized, involving 78 people and property losses of more than 500 yuan. News highlights pension claim time is critical. Labor insurance stipulates that the eligibility for old age pension benefits will not take effect until the day after resignation and surrender, and if the wrong date is chosen, 1 month less may be received. Experts suggest that the best surrender date of the month is the 28th or 29th, and avoid delaying until the last day of the month to ensure that you can apply for retirement pension the next day, so that the payment can be paid from the current month to avoid delays in crediting. News highlights a man was found lying dead outside the emergency room of Taichung Hospital in the West District of Taichung City last night, and was found to be a 32-year-old homeless person with the surname Gu. Gu Nan was sent to the hospital the night before due to a reversal, diagnosed with acute nephritis and arranged to be hospitalized, but the next day he did not inform the hospital to leave the hospital on his own, and eventually collapsed in the parking lot and died. The police investigation initially ruled out external intervention, and the body has been sent to the funeral home, and the family has no objection for the time being. News highlights this year, due to the leap June, the ghost month of the 7th lunar month was postponed to the 23rd before the official opening was postponed. Lai Mingwei, the palace master of Guang's palace in Daxi Fengshan Temple, reminded that the 4 zodiac signs of tigers, monkeys, snakes, and pigs who commit Tai Sui in the year of Yisai should pay attention to accidents, diseases and bloody disasters, and avoid going to remote and dangerous areas alone. He emphasized that the intercalary June will not make good brothers more fierce, and that worship should be done within one's ability, observe etiquette, and pay attention to safety. News highlights recently, the high temperature in Taiwan has continued, reaching 36 to 38 degrees in many places in the central and southern regions, and doctors pointed out that the number of people seeking medical treatment due to heat stroke, heat fatigue, and allergies has doubled. In 2025, the year of the snake in the lunar calendar will be 7 dragons control the water, plus the leap June, and the summer will be longer and hotter. The National Health Administration recommends 3 tips for heat prevention: stay cool, breathable clothing, avoid the scorching sun, replenish water, mainly plain water, avoid sugary or alcoholic beverages, and be vigilant, avoid going out from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. If symptoms of heat stroke occur, cool down immediately and seek medical attention. News highlights due to the national games held in October, 197 public and private primary and secondary schools in Yunlin County started school early today, shortening the summer vacation by 1 week, but students can enjoy 10 consecutive days of vacation in October. Classes will be suspended from October 20th to 24 during the national games. The first semester will be closed on January 20th, 2026, the winter vacation will be from January 21st to February 10th, and the second semester will start on February 11th. The county police station simultaneously launched a child protection project to strengthen safety around the campus and conduct education and publicity on anti-bullying, anti-drugs, and traffic safety. News highlights the Korean group Unite recently went to Brazil to participate in the 18th Korean Culture Day performance, and member Yoonho was forcibly pulled over by a female fan to kiss him on the way home from work. The organizers later apologized through social networking sites, emphasizing that any form of sexual harassment will never be tolerated, but it still could not calm fans' dissatisfaction. News highlights: the 60th Golden Bell Awards will be held at the Taipei Pop Music Center on October 17th and 18th, produced and broadcast by Sanli TV. The program category award ceremony was hosted by Lulu Huang Luzian for the first time, showing the charm of connecting generations. The drama award ceremony was once again hosted by Tsung Po-yi to review the 60-year history of the Admiralty. Both hosts emphasized the concept of common good, hoping to unite the strength of the audience and the entertainment industry through the ceremony, and privately exchange hosting experiences with each other, presenting a professional and friendly stage style. News highlights: Asian Star Festival, AAA, will be held at the Kaohsiung National Stadium on December 6th, and IU, Lee Ji-eun, and Park Bo-gum are confirmed to attend, becoming the biggest attraction of this year. The two showed superb acting skills in the popular drama, Bitter Mandarin, and attracted the attention of fans at home and abroad. This year's AAA celebrates its 10th anniversary, with the award ceremony hosted by Zhang Yuanying and Lee Junhao, and the Carnival AAA Festa on December 7th will be hosted by Lee Junrong, Idle Shuhua, Kraviti Allen, and Sui. Moving to Kaohsiung for the first time, the scene is expected to set off a wave of fans grabbing tickets, becoming a grand entertainment event in Asia at the end of the year. News highlights: mainland actor Su Kai recently fell into a storm of revelations. His ex-girlfriend Su Lisha first accused him of cheating, and talked about the white moonlight he Shengming in his agent Yu Zheng's heart. Su Kai emphasized that he is currently single and has called the police. The situation is not over. Su Lisha announced yesterday that she will expose Su Kai saying bad things about other celebrities in private, including Tan Jianxi, Yang Mi, Tan Sonjiun, Lin Yi, Huang Jingyu, Huang Minghao, and Li Yaitong, etc., and broke the news in the name of the fan group, triggering discussions on the mainland network. News highlights: the latest research from Stanford University pointed out that blood tests can determine brain age and dementia risk in advance. The team analyzed blood samples from more than 4 people and found that people with age-reducing brains had a 74% lower risk of dementia and even helped them live longer. Such people have better concentrations of key proteins in their brains, and often have habits such as regular high-intensity exercise, a diet rich in omega-3, supplementing vitamins or cod liver oil, and drinking tea. Conversely, smoking, alcoholism, insomnia, and eating more processed meat can accelerate brain aging. Studies have pointed out that a young brain can not only prevent dementia but also be associated with a significant reduction in the risk of death. News highlights: Taipei Municipal Health Bureau announced 2024 in the first half of the year. A total of fines were issued for the results of the inspection of illegal advertising of food and drug cosmetics 281. The amount of the penalty reaches the 3,704 10,000 yuan, of which food advertising violations are the most serious, accounting for 182 pieces 2384 10,000 yuan. Before the accumulated fines, the names are Kai Bao Creative Co., Ltd. La Biking Papaya Plump Drink, 484 10,000 yuan, Spokesperson 77 Boss, Shuangjiang Biotex Metabolic Regulation Medical Energy Essence, 230 10,000 yuan, Spokesperson Zhang Kunjun, Nito Shoji Ri. Own Peptide, 210,000 yuan. Illegal advertisements are the most common on the internet, and they often exaggerate the effects of weight loss, beauty, or immunity. The Health Bureau reminds businesses to publish advertisements in accordance with the law, and the public should not believe in exaggerated claims to avoid being deceived and harmed. News highlights: in 2025, the Ghost Gate will open on August 23rd, the first day of the 7th lunar month, and close until September 21st, during which it is known as the Ghost Month. There are many taboos circulated in folklore, such as not drying clothes at night, whistling, night games or playing in the water, and it is not suitable to move, buy a car, or start work, and pregnant women and children should avoid participating in pudu. From a scientific perspective, it is pointed out that these taboos are mostly related to the humidity and heat of summer, the abundance of mosquitoes, snakes, and ants, and the susceptibility to heat stroke or injury. Experts remind that if you need to move during the Ghost Month, you can resolve it through salt and rice purification, bed temporarily not positioned, etc. The Ghost Month is also the filial piety month, and you can spend it safely by maintaining awe and good thoughts. News highlights: 50 years old has not yet truly entered old age, but it is a critical period for planning for future life. Experts suggest that 5 learning should be carried out. 1. Develop habits, cultivate thinking from different angles, and activate the brain. 2. Focus on long-term results, not just short-term processes. 3. Maintain mobility, whether walking, driving, or using a wheelchair. The key is to be able to move independently and communicate actively. 4. Avoid clinging to high-ranking goals, adjust your mentality, and find the true end of life. 5. After retirement, there must still be people willing to interact with each other, so they should be interesting people, share opinions, and be generous to others. This can lay the foundation for a healthy and rich old age. News highlights: Taiwan's machine tool industry is in a severe predicament, affected by the appreciation of the new Taiwan dollar and the equivalent tariffs of the United States, and its export competitiveness has been greatly reduced. Many large factories have lost money for the first time in decades, and their production lines have deteriorated from doing 4 days off and 3 days off to doing 3 days off and 4 days off, and upstream parts factories have even experienced 5 days off a week and even prepared to close their factories. Although some manufacturers support it by reducing working hours or changing orders, the industrial chain may be broken in advance, and customers have also turned to Japanese factories to place orders, and the overall economic recovery is far away. News highlights the number of shareholders of Honhai, 2,317, fell to 104.2, a new low in nearly half a year, 14.9 fewer than this year's peak of 119.1. However, investors who get off the car are still profitable, with about 6.65 yuan per ticket based on 135.5 yuan to enter the market and 202 yuan to exit. Analyst Chen Shui pointed out that although Honhai has entered a consolidation after the sharp rise, the moving average will be in a bullish position, and last year's high of 234.5 yuan is expected to break through. Coupled with the positive promotion of AI chip cooperation in electric vehicle layout, the fundamentals still have growth potential. News highlights affected by the cold center low pressure. Thunderstorms have intensified in the western half of Taiwan in the afternoon in recent days. Former Meteorological Bureau Director Zhang Mingdian explained that the temperature at the center of the cold center low pressure is lower than that of the periphery, which is different from the typhoon, which is a warm low pressure. At present, the cold core low pressure over Taiwan is located between two high pressures on the north side, moving slowly and affecting for a long time. News highlights: although bamboo chopsticks are cheap and durable, they are susceptible to moisture and mold to produce aflatoxin, which may increase the risk of liver cancer. Non-toxic godmother Tan Dunsai reminded that if chopsticks have long hair or black spots, they must be discarded and should not be used continuously. Bamboo, wooden chopsticks, and cutting boards need to be thoroughly cleaned and dried due to their many gaps, and placed in a ventilated place to avoid mold growth. She also suggested avoiding cleaning the entire bamboo chopsticks to avoid heavy metal poisoning caused by the pattern falling off. If the chopsticks are cracked or moldy, they should be replaced immediately. In terms of material, melamine is not resistant to high temperatures and is prone to deformation, so she prefers 304 stainless steel chopsticks, but good chopstick skills are required to use them. News highlights: Taiwan defeated the United States 7-0 in the World Little League Championship in William Porter to win their first championship since 1996. Lai Minan, head coach of the Dongyuan Elementary School Little Baseball team, choked up and said that he has been a coach at the grassroots level for 32 years, and after 10 years of sharpening a sword, he finally realized his dream of winning the championship. Coach Lai emphasized that the team's defense as the offense, calm scheduling, and stable performance of the players on the field have enabled Taiwan to return to the International Little League Hall of Fame, carrying the expectations of the Chinese people and fulfilling his lifelong love and dedication to baseball. News highlights: 44-year-old actress Aya, Lu Hanya, recently danced her masterpiece Ice March with her daughter and niece on social platforms. The picture is warm and loving. Aya also taught her daughter the shaved ice dance movement, and finally the three of them danced together, and her daughter's performance was even praised by her as better than me. Aya has faded out of the entertainment industry since she married her American boyfriend 11 years ago and became pregnant, focusing on her family life. Her husband, Tony, is actually the 7th Dzogchen Bonal Rinpoche of Tibet, who is now focusing on the promotion of Buddhism and has fans all over the world. News highlights: stomach cancer is usually the result of years of accumulation, from chronic gastritis, gastric polyps to cancer, and the body actually sends signals. Chronic gastritis is mostly caused by Helicobacter pylori, which can lead to atrophy of the gastric mucosa and increased gastrin, which in turn stimulates excessive cell proliferation, forms polyps, and increases the risk of cancer. Long-term use of proton pump inhibitors, PPIs, may also increase the risk if not evaluated by a doctor. The key to preventing gastric cancer is to check bacteria early, use medication carefully, eat a light diet, regular gastroscopy, and pay attention to body signals, including eradicating Helicobacter pylori, avoiding long-term self-consumption of PPIs, consuming more fruits and vegetables, eating less high-salt smoked foods, quitting smoking and reducing alcohol, and regularly checking for mucosal changes and polyps.